Hey guys, Duel back with Hey guys, Duel back with another video. And as you can see, this isn't Pacific Rim or Nagisa. This is What if Deku was Sub-Zero? Now, for everybody who clicked on this video, I have a twist. Now, in this What if Deku is going to be this is pretty much a cross between the sagas of Alien and Predator mixed with My Hero Academia. Now, that's all I'm going to say for now. But just know that, yeah, when I get into the story that, wait a minute, those weren't in the anime. It's a universal cross. Okay, so, into the story. Now, Deku's family has been a long line of people with the quirk cryomancy. Now, it's never been very strong. Most of the time they can only manipulate ice, not create it. Now, but their family would always be very proud of this quirk and try do their best to preserve its purity. Hence, they only, had families with other people with ice quirks. Oh yeah, and Todoroki and Deku are cousins. Okay, so yeah. But when Deku was born, he had all white eyes, no pupils, for the first 5 minutes of his birth. And then his eyes shifted to blue. Showing signs of an early quirk, and maybe even a mutation based, which hasn't been seen before in their family, was slightly shocking. And Inko was, oh yeah, and okay, so yeah. So, yes, when Deku turns 5, he is brought to the Quirk Doctor to see if he has cryomancy. Now, whenever someone in the family is born without a cryomancy, or an ice quirk, they are disowned. If they have cryomancy, nothing happens. If they have an ice-based quirk, they are seen as different and never looked at the same. But if they don't have an ice quirk altogether, they are disowned. Now, Inko's last name isn't Midoriya. It is something different, which I will get into later. I'm not gonna spit it out yet. But when he's in the room with Quirk Doctor, the doctor replies with, "My boy, you have the quirk Sub-Zero." His mother looks a bit shocked and asks, "What do you mean? What does it do?" Well, he then says, "Miss, it seems to be the most powerful ice-based quirk we've come across to date. It's topped records, maybe even 5 times as strong. It's honestly amazing." Now, when Inko heard that her son didn't have cryomancy, she was kind of all like, "Oh no, oh no, no, oh no, my baby's gonna get disowned." But when she heard that Deku's quirk was a cryomancy based, she was relieved. And then she heard that it was 5 times stronger than the world record for the strongest ice quirk. This made an instant moment of proudness in Inka's heart. And Deku was fucking just sitting there like, I already knew I had this. And he's just retracting his fingers in his hands, like making a fist and pulling it out. As he looked at his hand, and he sees he feels he looks back at his mom, and his mom looks in his eyes. It's all white. She pulls him closer to her, and she kisses him on the forehead, and says, "You're gonna be a great hero." Then he remembers, that's right, a hero. Like him. And then he remembers All Might. A hero that never stopped and fought for those who needed him. Didn't matter what their background was. Didn't matter if they wronged him. He fought for them. To protect. Deku says, I'm going to be like him. But I will not be an exact copy. There are many things that he could do that I can't. As he's thinking morally and physically. But I will be a hero. And I'll save people. The people I can. This gave Deku new determination. And causing this. As soon as they left the the Quirk Doctor, in the parking lot, he says, Mom, I want to take up the family creed. She looks down at him and says, What? Izuku, you can't take it back once you do that. He says, that's the point. I want to be someone you can respect and someone that will strike fear into the hearts of villains. She's looking at her 5-year-old son like, why is my baby so advanced and intelligent? And then she says, okay, Izuku, you can take up the mantle. He says, thank you, Mom. And the next day, when Deku wakes up, his mom's gone. And then it says, there's a note, and it says, the first lesson in the trials of the Lin Kuei is solitude, meditation. I expect you to keep up your studies, and in 1 year I will return. Till then, you must fend for yourself. Now, Deku being 5, thinks, a normal 5-year-old would think, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? But Deku is thinking, how will I get food, water? The apartment's already paid off, so I don't need to worry about rent. But I will need a job for electric and utilities. This is stuff Deku's thinking about. But then he remembers, oh shit, I have to go to school. Now, remember, Deku is only 5 still. So when he walks into kindergarten, Bakugo immediately flashes his quirk. He says, so what are you gonna do, Icy? Walking straight up to Deku before he even gets in the kindergarten, in the room. He says, what you gonna do, Icy? Did you even get a quirk? Your families are so weak that I don't even think you could touch me. Deku then responds with, yes, I got a quirk, Kachan. The only difference is I didn't get my family quirk. What'd you get? Icicles? No. Instead of cryomancy, I got something better. Sub-Zero. As the entire room drops 5 degrees in 2 seconds flat. This is just Deku's fucking body's radiating natural temperature. He's not even kicking it up a notch. He just let it out. Then Bakugo says, well, fuck you, nerd. And he goes for an explosion to Deku's chest. Deku catches the explosion in his hand, which is now enveloped with ice. And he says, Kachan, you need to know now and for the rest of this goddamn school year. And yes, those are his exact words. That I am superior. These words give Bakugo a fucking realization. His realization is either he trains his quirk harder than Deku, or he loses. So for the rest of that year, Deku is left alone. And Bakugo trains every day after school. But Deku does manage to get a job mowing grass around his neighborhood. Now, what Deku does is he flash freezes the ground to where all the grass is even enough. And it takes him maybe 4 seconds, and he's done. He makes about $100 a yard, because let's say these yards are really big. So he manages to make it through the year in solitude. Every day after school meditating or working. And then there's the day that his mom comes home. When she walks in, he doesn't hug her, but he does walk up. When she extends her hand for a handshake, he shakes her hand. And he says, Mom, what's the next task? She sighs. Martial arts. At that, he smirks and says, this is gonna be fun, Mom. Don't worry. She's still like, oh my god, my baby's so cute. As she hands him the address and says, it's about 5 kilometers away. You'll have to run there and back from here every day. Oh, and I got you a gift. She hands him pretty much Sub-Zero's get up, minus the mask. It's pretty much just the blue hood with the Lin Kuei on the sign on the back. And over the next 4 years, which would put Deku at 10, he has been mastering martial arts, using his quirk to fucking body every motherfucker there. And on his 5th year, he beats the living shit out of the Grandmaster at 11. He now has every medal the Lin Kuei has to offer, including the representative medal. If they are ever to be faced in Mortal Kombat against another clan, then Deku is their chosen fighter. He has also been given the mantle of Sub-Zero, a warrior colder than ice. And he is also framed in the dojo as champion. Now, where to continue? Okay. So even though that Deku has mastered the art of combat with the Lin Kuei, he still attends practice as a mentor for other students, taking on 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds as an 11-year-old. And in the dojo, quirks are permitted as long as they're not destructive to the area. Deku has fought pyromancers, people with similar quirks to Reptile. He's fought someone with a teleportation quirk. Every time coming out on top. Now, in this UA is a university, so just remember that. So Deku's about 11 now, and time for his final trial to become a member of the Lin Kuei. Not just a student, a member. Now, the Lin Kuei are a hero agency, along with an undercover assassination group. They are mercenaries with honor bound. So, his final task is to survive 1 year in solitude on the Arctic. Now, the Lin Kuei is provides of only cryomancers, and that explains why they're going to the fucking Arctic. So Deku puts on the hoodie with the Lin Kuei mark that his mom gave him, along with a respirator mask to steady his breathing in the Arctic. Even though he wouldn't actually need it, he thought it was a good touch to his costume either way. So, a plane flies low to the ground as he's dropped in the Arctic. Now, as soon as he drops, he completely freezes over his arms to avoid any kind of frostbite, because he can unfreeze his own body. So he freezes his feet and his arms. He also creates a layer of ice on his boots that is harder than the actual leather or plastic. I don't know. I guess probably more of rubber. What time is it? I got time. It's Friday, so I have much to do tomorrow in class. Okay, oh, let me know if you guys like this thumbnail, by the way. Thought it was hella dope. Well, yeah, either way. So he was dropped in the tundra, and immediately he spots a group of polar bears. A mama and her cubs. He walks up, and the polar bear immediately shows signs of aggression. Then Deku thinks, if you can't beat him, join him. Deku then guts the mother after freezing her entire fucking skull, and then unfreezing it. But he did destroy the brain when he did it, so it is left with one cub and The way Deku sees it, he killed the Cub's protector, so now he is the Cub's protector. But he does skin the mother and use her fur as a coat. Not for warmth, more as a trophy. Not to mention, that this is going to be one of the things he remembers this occasion by. The day he began his initiation into the Lin Kuei. Now, when they dropped him in, they gave him 3 things: a knife, a canteen of water. No, a knife, some matches, and a wanted poster, dead or alive. And let's say the wanted poster said Moonfish. Yeah, let's say the wanted poster was for Moonfish. Now remember, Deku's probably like, I think he's 11 still. So, as he's wandering around the Arctic, it's been 3 months as he spots smoke. Now, he's been taking care of this polar bear cub, and the cub is now the same size as him. But he recognizes the cub, Deku, as the master. So, it's never attacked Deku. Deku does ride it from occasion. Now, as Deku approaches the smoke, when he gets there, he spots Moonfish. Immediately, Moonfish freaks out like, pro hero, pro hero, pro hero, here. And through the entirety of the battle, there was a battle. Deku does kill Moonfish. Now, when Deku kills Moonfish, it is with an ice spike to the heart. After Deku dodges one of Moonfish's teeth, he stabs in the heart. When he dodged the tooth, it went directly into the temple of his polar bear. Deku shed a tear on this, and then left at that. He buried the polar bear, and then he used the signal. He threw an ice pillar so large in the sky that it looked legit like one of the fucking Twin Towers. That high. And let's say Lin Kuei were scouting the area at all times, and they see the tower. After being returned after 1 year, because they didn't come get him immediately, the mandatory time spent in the Arctic is 1 year. So after the 1 year, he is returned to civilization at age 12 as a member of the elite organization, the Lin Kuei. He has also gained the mantle Sub-Zero. Now, Deku is now 13. Now, let's say Deku's been doing jobs for the Lin Kuei for the last 3 years, so he's 15. Okay, so, no, let's say he's 11, so he's been doing it. No, he'd be 12. Okay, so let's say he's 12. And he's going to his first martial arts class in a year. And when he gets there, he bodies everyone. It's almost like they've gotten weaker. Or has he gotten stronger? He smirks a bit, and then for the next 7 hours, he spars with the Grandmaster. Grandmaster doesn't win a round. I'm just going to say this. There were 23 rounds. So, now we're gonna switch to the perspective of someone else. This character does not have a name yet. But yes, it is a predator, also known as a Yardrath. Now, the predators have been, for the last 5 years, kidnapping kids with quirks for their hunts to initiate new people into the blooded, which is also another word for those who have killed their prey. Now, they've had eyes on Deku ever since he was in the tundra. Not tundra, Arctic. They saw him kill a polar bear, which is meant to be one of the most fierce animals on that planet, with a single move at age 11. So, what they decide to do is they kidnap him. On his way home, they fire a tranquilizer dart directly into the back of his neck. This tranquilizer dart was camouflaged and it was silenced. There was no way Deku would have been able to notice it unless he was on guard. Not to mention, he was depleted from energy from 23 spars with the Grand Master. So, yeah. Deku is then knocked out, and when he wakes, he's falling through the sky. Immediately, Deku tries to check his surroundings as fast as possible. When he realizes he has a parachute on, he pulls the parachute, and he glides to the ground. When he gets to the ground, he examines the area. It seems he's in a woodland area. It seems to be maybe tropical. As he hears screams of falling, like ah, not ah. It's not like, oh my god, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. It's more like, oh, it's more like, ah, I hurt my leg. So, yeah, when this happens, Deku doesn't rush over. Immediately, Deku examines what's in his bag. He finds a knife, a box, and a bracelet. Now, Deku immediately checks the bracelet and finds that it's a one-time use laser cannon. Now, then he sees a knife, and he looks at the box, and he starts to pry open the box. He finds a meal kit and some matches. He looks through the bag one more time, and he finds a clock. It's counting down from... Let's say it's counting down from 4 weeks. Now, Deku's thinking through this like, okay, if there's a clock, there's weapons, and there's military-grade food. Not only that, but there's multiple of us here, and we don't know where we are. It was winter last time. It was winter in Japan, and it's tropical here, which means we're in another part of the world, or somewhere else entirely. Maybe even someone's reservation. And as soon as he says reservation, it snaps in his head. Wait a minute. There's a clock, and this may be a reservation. It's entirely possible that this is the countdown before the hunt. Deku quickly realizes he has 3 weeks before he will be hunted by unknown foes. So, what he does is he searches around in the map and the bag's other pockets, and he finds a map. But before he goes any further, he looks around. He's not being able to see much. He then touches the ground with one finger and says, "Flash freeze." Now, what happens is a thin layer of ice goes on the ground in a let's say a 10-mile radius from his place, and moving in a circle. It identifies everybody in this circle. It identifies 29 other people. Yes, he identifies 29 other people. And right away, Deku begins checking the map. He finds 9 locations marked dangerous from levels 1 to 9. So what Deku does is he ice slides to location 1. So he ice slides to the first location where he finds a lizard-looking animal sleeping. He then uses his abilities to check the body temperature to see if it's a reptile-based creature, to see if it's cold-blooded or not. Because if it's cold-blooded, then it responds to heat. So all Deku has to do to get past it is lower his body temperature. He checks it, and it is a cold-blooded animal. So what Deku does is he lowers his body temperature to that of the creature. He then walks right past. When he gets there, he finds a gun, 4 clips, and let's say a bow and arrow. Now he puts the gun in his bag, and he puts the bow and arrow. He carries the bow and arrow, thinking that this is enough for him to survive for now. He starts hunting. Now, the Yardra implanted him with a tracking device. Now, when the hunt goes online, the tracking device will cut out. But till then, he is being watched using cameras and microphones, and also with the tracker. Now, every Yardra there is impressed. Within the first 10 minutes, he's already past danger zone 1. Not to mention he has 3 weapons. Nobody else there even has a weapon, let alone clear the danger area. And the danger blip on the map goes out. So, for the next 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, week, Deku avoids all humans, preferring that he is not seen, heard, or looked upon for aid. Because Deku is trying his hardest to be a hero, but he can't be a hero if he's dead. And other people are the way he gets killed. So, yes. He's been avoiding all life. He's been avoiding all intelligent life on the planet, only hunting and killing animals in the book that are marked safe to eat. He stocked up enough perishable foods to last him 3 months. Now, as he's finished up his final hunt, here's a scream. This scream maybe being 75 yards away. What he does is he says, "Fuck it. Can't be strong enough to take me down." So what he does is he fucking teleports over. Because let's say it was in the distance and where he could teleport through ice. So what he did is he used his mind to freeze a certain area over there and teleport through the ice. As he did, he sees a... Who do I want to make it? He sees Mortimer. He sees Mortimer about to get fucking eaten by a xenomorph. Immediately, Deku says, "Oh, hell no." And he launches an ice ball, freezing the xenomorph right before it's about to shove its mouth dick into Mortimer's skull. Now, right before it's stuck there, as he says, no, he doesn't say anything. He just squeezes his hand closed as the ice shatters. He then extends his hand down to Mortimer and says, "Get up. If you want to live, you're coming with me." Mortimer looks at him and like, "The fuck are you and where have you been?" He says, "No time for talks." Mortimer grabs his hand, and then Deku fucking teleports back to his cave. Mortimer's gasping for air like, "What the fuck was that?" Deku then lights the fire and says, "Now we can talk," as he removes his mask. "Nice to meet you. I'm Izuku." Doesn't say last name. He says, "I'm Mortimer." That's fine for now. What are you doing here? How long have you been here?" Deku replies with, "I've been here as long as you guys. I dropped in with you, I just chose to stay away." Mortimer looks at him like, "The fuck you say?" Because let's say that every other person but Deku, they all grouped up in a hunting party. And one by one, until there were only, let's say about 7 left, minus Deku. Until then, they were all grouped up. And then they finally split apart. Mortimer was being chased by why they split apart. The xenomorph. Now, then Deku asks, "What was that thing?" "It's an alien." "I know that. Everything on this planet is alien." And if you didn't know, in about 24 hours, the real threat arrives. "What do you mean, real threat?" He pulls out his clock and says, "You got one of these, right?" "Yeah, I figured it's how long we had to last in here." Taking the chick said, "No. This is how long before the hunters come. This is a reservation, and we were kidnapped. So clearly, what do you do on a reservation where you refill the livestock?" Mortimer's fucking eyes widen like, "Oh shit, we're on a hunting reservation." "Yeah. All the fucking people, everything you've seen so far is extra. We're the big game for whatever's out there. Mom was like, but you're strong, right? I should be fine if I stay with you, right? Deku then replies with, stay with me. I'm gonna get you some food and you're gonna be on your fucking way. Mom's like, no, please, let me stay with you. Now this is 12-year-old Mortimer. So he doesn't know how to use his quirk. Or at least he hasn't mastered his quirk. So he can't actually take Deku's quirk. So I think I'm gonna cut it here soon, but I think I'm gonna get to right before the hunt starts. So yeah. So Deku then replies with, fine, but how many did you say were left? 7 including me. Minus with you there's 8. He then says, well, you guys should be safe if you hide here. What are their names? I'm not really sure, but I know one of their names is Todoroki Shoto. His eyes widen at this and says, what did you just say? Todoroki Shoto. He fucking facepalms and like, I left my cousin on this planet for fucking 3 weeks. He's like, that's my family. He then says, oh, sorry. He says, there's a guy named Tenki. There's a girl named Momo, May, and then there's a chick named, who do I want another chick to be? Actually, I'm gonna call it there. Momo May. No, Momo May Amina. And then there is. I think I added 2 people. Fuck, I can't remember. Todoroki Shoto. That's 5. That's 4. And there are 2 random people that are extras. He then says, I went to school with some of them. Yeah, but Todoroki's family, I can't leave them out there. You stay here. There's food. You get 1 ration a day. He hands him the ration and says, if I find any of that food missing, I'm booting your ass out. Same goes for the water. Monoma says, okay. As Deku then goes out, and in 30 minutes, he tracks down every last one of them. Except for 2. He gets everybody I listed. He wasn't able to find the extras. Or at least they were too far away for him to be able to find them. And he wasn't willing to go too far away from his camp in case the xenomorph attacked. And so they're all in his cave, and he gives them all 1 ration. And he thinks, with the food I have now, I may be able to last. Remember when I said he only had a month of food left? I'm gonna say that he had a month of food left for 20 people. Yeah, so let's say he has 2 months of food for everybody. So, yeah. And then 24 hours later, Deku locks the cave with a boulder, freezes it shut, and leaves small ventilation ducts. And then he teleports back in and says, Modema, No, then he says, Todoroki, you're family, and I'm not letting you die out here. So, protect these people. I'm gonna go take on the hunters. Todoroki then says, no, I should go. He then replies with, sorry, friend. No, sorry, friend. Sorry, fam. But you are not stronger than me. Todoroki raises his hand to beg, and he says, I beg to differ. And in an instant, his entire body is frozen over. Deku replies with, I know you could burst some flames out, but even if you did, you wouldn't be able to melt the ice. Todoroki then is let free as he sits back down and says, you're right. Don't die out there. If you do, we're all dead. He smiles and says, I'm a hunter, not the prey. And then the hunt begins. So, I'm gonna end it here, folks. Thank you for watching, coming out, and this is going up on Friday. So, pretty much today, just not at 2 a.m. So, thank y'all for watching. If you did click on this video and you weren't expecting what you got, thank you. And if you do like the concept of this, I believe I drew inspiration from a YouTuber that did the original version of this, except he didn't have this particular quirk. I believe it was Kirsho. I don't remember if that's the channel name. I remember he has a lot of recommendations in my watch laters. So yeah, that's pretty much, I believe his name's Kirsho. But go check him out. He has a 30-part series on what if Deku was a predator. It's fucking dope. 100% recommend you go watch that. I'm talking, that shit is fire. And then he popped out an April Fool's Day, what if? It was tight, it was tight. Go watch that April Fool's Day, what if, because if we get 2,000 likes, I'll make it an actual series, which I do want to see. So, thank you, demons, for watching. Duel here, signing off with the first episode of this. Peace out, like, sub, subscribe, like, sub, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. Whoever requested requit bell, no idea when I'm gonna get to it, but you will get a part 2 eventually. Just saying. I still gotta do that final part 2, what if bell will have a unique symbiote, but I'll get to that eventually. You know how it is when you do so many of the same things over and over again. It eventually gets boring. But the reason I'm doing multiple what ifs at once now is because if I'm able to mix it up, then I want to do YouTube for at least another 2 to 3 years. And, oh yeah, I forgot to say, thank you guys for getting 300 subscribers. Now, I'm gonna be honest, subscribers aren't really that much to me. I'm gonna be honest, out of like, comment, and subscribe, I like seeing comment. Because I like it when y'all voice your opinions, give me some criticism, or when what y'all want to see, like where you want to see the story go or something like that. I'm babbling. Thank y'all for watching. Peace out, demons. Like, subscribe. And the dual wielding demon himself is fucking out.